it a lot. So now the floor is open for our audience. You can paste your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask your questions directly to ma'am. As you have seen, she has a very nice and friendly attitude. So it's comfortable to be here. Please ask your questions.
May I?
Yes, please.
So first of all, good evening, ma'am, and thank you so much for the lovely and educational session. So I just wanted to know what's your opinion on these religious personal laws, which always put women on a lower pedestal. So do you think UCC can bring about some change?
I actually do have a lot of faith in UCC, and you're absolutely right. Personal laws, again, I would repeat that slogan, personal is political. And personal laws, because of the dichotomy that there has been in different religions also, and the way they've treated women from ages, from times immemorial, there has to be a uniform code to be able to bring them at par, and to be able to religion not become an excuse to dominate and exploit women again, like the triple talaq judgment that happened, the Sabrimala judgment that happened, and the talk there has been about UCC, which is something that's extremely important. And those 15 women that I told you about in the Constituent Assembly, and they also talked about the importance of UCC and how important it is for our country, which is already so divided when it comes to religion, when it comes to caste, when it comes to race, sex, everything else. It's such a huge country with so many people, with so many religions. You can't possibly make sure that there's equality until and unless you have UCC. So I completely agree. There has to be a uniform civil code. So I think I'll just read this question by Ria. Ria has asked, we still follow a colonial set of laws with age-old contexts. How long do you think a diverse country like India will take to instill feminism in jurisprudence? Now this is one question that I don't think I'm competent enough to answer, because I cannot really predict how long it will take. We take one step forward, and then somehow we take 10 steps backward. In my personal experience, what I've seen while litigating, the last 2 years of pandemic have actually, if they have hit, we're talking about how they've hit different industries and work and everything, but they've also badly damaged the cause of gender equality, the cause of understanding and recognizing people for who they are, instead of boxing them into different categories. And all the progress that we had achieved, we have actually gone backwards. And there are a lot of, like I said, there are a lot of centuries and a lot of time periods that are coexisting in different places. So I cannot be sure how long it will take for us to finally reach that step. But yes, I can just tell you that the change that we're looking for, and the change that we want, it's within us. We have to keep asking the questions, we have to keep fighting the fight, we have to keep having the floor and the platform for these discussions, because there will be a lot of people around us who will tell us that all of this is unnecessary, all of this is stupid, all of this is just useless, you're just wasting your time. Personally speaking, when I was in Lady Shriram College, and after that I did my law, I was told, my parents were told by so many people that ये क्या कर दिया, अब इससे शादी कौन करेगा, इस लड़की से जो इतना पढ़ लिख गई, अगर वो वकील वकालत करेगी, वकालत में तो काम ही होता है घर टूट जाते हैं लोगों के, और फेमिनिज्म और ये सब इसके दिमाग में चढ़ जाएगा लेडी श्रीराम कॉलेज से, तो इसको इसके शादी करने में प्रॉब्लम आएगी आपको. And this is happening in today's world. This is happening in the 21st century with people who are educated, with people who, and this is being said by people who actually have achieved a lot in their lives, and they've seen a lot in their lives, they have experienced a lot, and you would think of them to be progressive, but they're not. They're having these kinds of discussions still. Even till date, I have had people tell me how I should and shouldn't be dressing in a particular kind of court, because I have to keep the surroundings into consideration, and I have to make sure that my appearance is not distracting to the judge or the lawyers around me. So this is something that honestly I cannot predict how long it will take for us to get rid of this, but I really hope that we do. So yeah, any other questions? Thank you, Ria. Okay, Unnati has asked, what role does underrepresentation of women in judiciary plays in a lack of feminist jurisprudence in India? So there's underrepresentation of women everywhere, but even where there is representation, I think there's lack of participation. There's a lot of there's a lot of bias, and there are a lot of women who are also afraid of doing something that goes against the male majority, because of the undue pressure that they face from all around. Like, I just told you about this section 149 of Companies Act. Now, there were a lot of cases when surveys were done to see if it had actually brought about a change. There were a lot of cases where making a woman director would not really render them independent per se, and having just one woman director in a board full of male members actually placed her in a position where she could not really go against the majority, and she could not find her voice even as a director, as an independent director. When it comes to judiciary, although it's a welcome change that we have more number of female judges in the Supreme Court now, and we are hoping that by 2027 we'll have our first woman Chief Justice of India. All of that is necessary, but then I have also personally seen women judges, women lawyers who actively continue to discriminate against other women also. So I'm not too sure how helpful that would be. But representation, you fight for it. Reservation, you fight for it. At the same time, where there is representation, where there is reservation, there has to be more participation. So I hope that answers your question, Unnati. Ria. Thank you, Psychology SEC. Thank you so much, everybody, for appreciating the session so much. I would love to have more questions. If there's anybody, there was somebody who wanted to discuss the misuse of laws with me, Pranjal. Do you remember the name of the person?
Yes, ma'am. It was Sumiran.
It was
Sumiran, you wanted to discuss with ma'am, right?
Sumiran.
Sumiran.
Yeah.
Now you have been given the chance. Ma'am is asking for you. If you want to discuss, you can. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Sumiran. Hi, Sumiran.
Hi. No, I didn't have anything the misuse of laws. I think I was just interested in that trafficking law one. That, yeah, and you are right that the sex workers weren't consulted during making those laws. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah. You are.
So yeah, there was a there was a lot of debate recently that should prostitution be legalized in India and something like that. So I would like to know your thoughts on that.
Right. So as I discussed briefly already,
I
that
would also like to add this, ma'am, that
yeah.
what Sumiran said, in order to legalize something, it should be, a sort of crime and something. But if prostitution is also a profession, right? It's not entirely a crime that needs to be legalized or penalized or punishable. Why do we have to, give it such significant through, like, we have much more important matters for, for our judiciary to handle. We should focus on them rather than, restricting women from performing a profession, even if they want to. Why is it wrong if a woman want to have prostitution as a profession? If she is financially, independently helping herself, then what's wrong? Why it needs to be legalized or penalized? This is my question.
Right.
Why did things?
That I think prostitution is it legal? I mean, by my knowledge, I think it is illegal in India, right?
Yes, it's illegal.
So, so I mean, if you say that women are free if they want to pursue in prostitution, I mean, so if you consider it illegal, then how can if you get it right?
Yes, I do. So, to answer both of your questions, and thank you so much for engaging in this conversation with me. Um, you remember when I told you that you need to look at this not just from the legal perspective, but also psychological, social, political, and other things that come into play when it comes to international relations and things like that also. So, a major reason when you study about prostitution and the immoral trafficking laws and how the Indian, Contagious Diseases Act became the primary source of the police personnel to exploit sex workers and to take haftas from them and things like that. If you'll read more about it, you'll get a better idea. But so it has always been considered that women should be a certain way. They should lead their lives in a respectable, chaste manner. The virginity of the woman, the consent of the woman when it comes to her having a sex life. Forget about being a sex worker. For her to be having a healthy sexual relationship with somebody, even that is a point, a bone of contention between her and her family. Forget about the state, forget about the laws, forget about everything else. There are so many women so educated and so advanced and families supporting them and everything, but the moment they come to know, okay, yeah, she's actively sexually involved with this other person, with this other guy, or you don't even talk about her being a lesbian or anything, wo to ekdam next level. That's like going to be the end of everything. But if your family finds out, and even if you're 25, 30 years old, it'll come as a shock. They don't want to see you as a sexual being. They don't want to see you as having rights to your own body other than using it to reproduce, to bear children and to carry forward the male lineage, which is something that traditionally it has been believed. So in that setup, if you bring up an idea and say that a woman would actually want to be in a profession where she wants to sell her body, or when she wants to engage in sex for money, that is completely incomprehensible, completely unacceptable for the society. You just like, so forget about laws or anything. It's just even having this conversation is like, what are they talking about? They're being corrupt. They're corrupting the thought process of our children and everything. There's no sex education in our schools till date. There's no recognition of gender identity. In fact, there was this recent judgment, Justice Venkatesh's judgment. You just go through it. It was, I think, Karnataka court's judgment, where he talked about unconscious bias that we have in our minds against a particular community, against a particular section of people. And you read more about it, and how he actively went through therapy to remove those biases, to make to pronounce a judgment or an order in a case that talked about a lesbian couple, and how their parents wanted them to come back home and not be in a relationship with each other. So it took us so long for actually recognizing the existence of live-in relationships and LGBTQIA plus community, and also looking at women as sexual beings. So I think it'll take us a lot.
Ma'am, but why does a woman who's enduring a non-consensual intercourse after marriage is right, but a woman who's having it with consent is called corrupt and selling her
Yeah,
body?
exactly,
I think
exactly.
it's very hypocritical.
It is. It definitely is.
Like,
And yeah,
you are again promoting that a woman shouldn't have her wish and desires. Like,
yes,
after marriage, you don't care about her wishes, her desires, or her consent. It is totally okay. But when she's
yeah,
actually taking things in her hand and doing it with consent, she's corrupt. She's
yes,
immoral.
yes, absolutely. That is how it is. You just look at it like your there are families and parents that say that ये सब कुछ तुम शादी के बाद कर लेना, शादी से पहले मत करना.
That's not 100% project where our beneficiaries are rescued sex workers, and they make, they make through their skills, they make like they are running a small business. But it is such a taboo just because, just because of their past profession, it is a taboo. People don't want to accept them. They are not looking at their skills, but the work they used to do, they were not good. Now they are having a dignified life. And in our country, the sex workers are actually denied. They are denied of healthcare facilities,
Yes.
denied of rights, denied of even justice.
Yeah.
So actually it's them who are enduring all the wrong. And
Yes.
then they are also being called immoral and corrupted. We
Yeah.
don't know the circumstances why in which they are doing so.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, nobody really questions the man who goes to these people, who goes to,
Exactly, ma'am. Why does a man, I mean, it's a right, ma'am, in having an intercourse after the age of 18, everybody has the right to make their choices, right? So why does it have to be different with a man, for a man and a woman?
yes, that
This
is
is where, how can we find equality in this?
exactly, and that's why we talk about it. We try to bring forth what we are trying to say, and it looks like such a matter of fact to you. It's not to the society or the traditional beliefs that have been carried forward till now. If you think about it, something as simple as you wanting to wear what you want to wear when you go out after sunset.
Argument capital is that the two people who are doing it, the one who's taking money is corrupt, but the one who's giving it is the victim
Yes,
over here.
yes.
This
That's
is also very
there,
ironic.
yes, it is. There'll be a lot of reasons for the man to go to the woman, but there can be no reasons for the woman to be doing this, to be selling her body for money until and unless she's exploited, until and unless she's being trafficked, until and unless
My concern is basically, ma'am, who are we to, adjourn it as something right or wrong? Basically, it's none of our business. We are a liberal, country.
yeah.
Everybody has a choice to, everybody has to make choices in their life. Why do we have to term it as right, wrong, when it's not harming us? We need to, let people live their life.
Yeah. You know why
If
when
we really want to,
um I don't remember the exact time, the exact year. I'll let you know. But when this argument had happened for the first time, and there was this woman who was actually working as a prostitute who decided to go for a case, and it was famously known as the first prostitutes case. So in that, she had actually approached All India Women's Association, and she tried to put forth her thoughts and say that okay, no, all of us, we are doing this, and we need equal, we need health benefits, we need safety, we need this, we need that. So the women representative of those associations also said that how can you do this by your own choice? Aren't you concerned about your family? Aren't you concerned about your reputation? And that in our country, if you want to grow, we need selfless women with unconditional love, taking care of their families and their children. So
ma'am, in countries like ours, selfless is such a toxic word.
yeah,
I would say.
yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
label. Like, yeah, a man can be overly ambitious and very selfish, yes, yet it is right. But a woman can't even think about herself. That will be called, selfish and immoral. And
Absolutely.
she has to be selfless. It's not actually being selfless. It's like women are expected to be sacrificing. They have to.
Yes.
Yesterday only, ma'am. There are this Zenith also. We had this movie screening of this short movie called Legally Raped.
Hmm.
So there were many aspects on in that movie also that showed that I love you is equals to I owe you in
Yes.
our country.
Yes.
She has to sacrifice her posting, her career, her everything. She has to move away. You said na, that companies don't want to hire women because they have to move after marriage. Why does she have to move? Why
Yeah.
can't the husband move out for her job?
And
Where is
anybody
the
can move
equality?
at any point. That can't be a reason for you to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Exactly, but ma'am, the
yes.
expectation, the social expectations are from the woman only that she has to move, she has to adjust, she
Yes.
has to leave her house. The
Yes.
man is a privileged person. For him, after marriage, there shouldn't be no change.
Yes.
Why? It's a process that involves two people equally.
Yeah.
So both the efforts, both the sacrifices should be made from both the sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in India, not all marriages are not even legal. People don't have marriage certificates and everything.
Yeah.
They have,
And
I don't know how they will claim it. We need to first have this, system. We need to, you said, no, ma'am, personal is political.
Yes.
We need to actually combine those things, that marriage and, law should be combined. There is this law in, ma'am, our country, in Asian countries only. In China, there is a law, there is a household register. Before holding a ceremony of marriage, both the male and the female have to go to their bureau. They have to register. They both have their household registers. A man's name will be registered under female's household register, and hers will be registered under his name, so that it's equal. They both have to leave their house, and their parents will give them a new house as the betrothal gift.
Wow.
So they have to start a new life.
That's
Why can't we learn from countries that are, around us only, the Asian countries only?
Yeah.
I think we all can propagate and learn from each other. So law, if we want to implement personal, political, no, we need to implement law in every sphere of daily life.
Yeah.
Be it consent, consensual sex, be it marriage laws and everything.
Yes.
Only then we will be empowered.
Yes, absolutely. There are matriarchal societies in our country, also in the northeastern villages, where the practice is to actually send after marriage, the man goes to the girl's house, and the property is also divided accordingly, and there's the tradition is like that. So yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and I love how passionate you are about all of these things. I completely resonate with everything that you said, and these are such basic things, basic questions, but this is just a sorry state of our country, honestly, and we need to keep having these conversations. um yes, absolutely. Thank you, Akanksha, and thank you, Gopeshwari. So before we close, anything else anybody would like to say? You can keep in touch with me. You can definitely message me even after the session.
Sure, we'll share your LinkedIn link and then people can reach out to you there.
Thank you.
Hello, hello, ma'am.
Yeah, Sumiran.
Ma'am, I think a few months back there was a law passed by the in the Japanese government that after the marriage it was compulsory for the female to change her name and to have the same last name as the male, as the husband.
Mhm.
Uh, so do you think? Do you think as there is a trend in India that usually after marriage the females they add the male last name to their name, like Kareena Kapoor, she added Khan in the end, and like there are many other examples. Uh, so do you think that the female should? I think they should always keep their name, but is it necessary? I mean, to change the name and add the last name. Uh, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, thank you for the question, Sumiran. It's not at all necessary, and it has recently become a trend that they would add the suffix of the surname to their own entire name, like Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Kareena Kapoor Khan, like you just said. Deepika Padukone has still not changed her name. And earlier there used to be this practice, Mangal Sutra and Sindoor and everything, surname badalna hai. Ab the tradition has changed, although there are, like I do see a lot of divorce cases on a daily basis where, they raise this point that she never changed her surname, and that's why, she never was interested in the matrimonial home at all and all of that, those things. But those are all baseless arguments, and the courts also recognize that, and it's not a requirement, it's completely your choice. If you want to change your name, by all means. If you don't want to, don't go for it. That's the entire funda. You want to work as a woman, you want to have a work life balance, you want to have your family as well as your career, your choice. You don't want to have your family only, your career, your choice. You don't want to have a career, you just want to be a homemaker, your choice. You can do whatever you want to do, it's about you. And that becomes very difficult to put in the heads of some people who think that if a woman is choosing herself, then she is discarding everyone else in her life. That's not actually the case. When a man does that, it's completely acceptable. So those are the things that the mindset I think is changing. When we come to the laws and the societal change, the institutional led change, yeah, that will take time. But on an individual level, in the Gen Z and the Gen Y, the ideas and the notions have definitely progressed, and there's a lot more adaptation, there's a lot more acceptance than there was, a lot more tolerance that there was in the previous generations. So I guess we're making progress. So thank you so much, Pink Legal, for having me, and thank you everybody for engaging in this conversation. I know a lot of people might not have been able to ask the questions that they wanted to or talk. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. And Pink Legal, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much, Pranjal, Ishani, Akanksha. I've had a lot of fun today. Thank you.
Likewise, ma'am. Thank you so much for this intellectually stimulating session and extending your time beyond what we had actually requested for. So that means a lot, and this engaging Q&A session means a lot for us. So thanks again for accepting the invite, taking out time, and doing all that. That presentation was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, I'll share the LinkedIn so that people who have questions left can reach out to you there. Or maybe
Thank
your
you,
LinkedIn,
ma'am.
of course.
Thank you, Sumiran, and thank you, everybody. Have a great
Thank
Thank you so
evening.
much, ma'am. It was
Bye.
such a wholesome session. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Very
Pranjal.
well.
Thank you.